To meet the demand for quality poultry, it's critical to focus on the overall health of the chickens. One of the most effective ways to help ensure an animal population is healthy is to vaccinate. Vaccines mimic natural infections, but allow an animal to build immunity to a disease without harmful effects. This video will review why and how to water vaccinate your flocks to stimulate immunity in growing birds and their progeny. Immunity develops when a healthy bird is exposed to either a pathogen or a vaccine and then mounts an immune response to fight it off. Stimulating immunity through vaccination is better for the chick because vaccines do not make birds sick like natural infections do. Another advantage of vaccination is that vaccines can be given before an anticipated disease challenge arrives. By developing solid protection before exposure to a pathogen, birds have less disease impact and continue to grow. Vaccinations provide the best possible protection from disease challenges in the field. When you immunize pullets, you are helping to immunize their offspring. Pullet vaccination stimulates antibody production. At hen maturity, these antibodies are then passed to chicks through the yolk, and the antibodies are absorbed during embryo development inside the egg. These maternal antibodies are the source of protection for young chicks their first few weeks of life. They protect chicks against common disease agents they will be exposed to before they mount their own immune response. Poultry vaccines can be either inactivated or live. Inactivated vaccines, also called killed vaccines, are created by growing the selected agent or agents in a laboratory and then inactivating them by physical or chemical processes. Inactivated vaccines often contain an adjuvant because they do not replicate in the host and therefore do not stimulate a strong immune response on their own. Inactivated vaccines are injected directly into the animal by the intramuscular or subcutaneous route, and booster vaccination is common. There are 4 common types of live vaccines. They include avirulent, attenuated, vectored, and chimera vaccines. Live vaccines can replicate in the host and therefore stimulate a more robust immune response without needing an adjuvant or a booster vaccination. Live vaccines should always be administered according to the label and to the entire flock at one time. This helps prevent rolling reactions. Avirulent vaccines are created from naturally occurring organisms that have been selected because they do not cause disease but stimulate immunity to related pathogens of interest. These organisms are not changed in the process of vaccine development. Attenuated vaccines are created by modifying the disease agent or agents to weaken them. When an attenuated vaccine is administered to the bird, it might trigger a mild form of the disease. The agent replicates in the bird, which stimulates an immune response. A vectored vaccine contains immune-stimulating genetic material from one disease agent incorporated into another, often avirulent carrier agent. The incorporation process is called vectoring. A chimeric vaccine contains genetic material from related organisms incorporated into a disease agent of the same origin. This novel technology stimulates immunity with the benefit of more diverse antigenicity and reduced clinical impact. When chickens are properly immunized, they are healthier, more able to fight off disease challenges, and grow better. In this way, pullet vaccination programs are the cornerstone to chick health. Remember, maternal antibodies from hens protect chicks in early life, while their immune system is developing and getting exposed to the ever-present disease agents in the environment. Calculating the value of proper pullet vaccination, one unvaccinated hen with an 83% hatch rate produces 126 unprotected chicks in 1 year. At $1.85 per pound, that's a potential loss of $1,924. If just 10% of a 10,000 head pullet house was missed by improper vaccination procedures, the annual estimated impact on progeny performance would be nearly $2 million due to lack of protection against endemic disease agents early in life. Vaccines are invaluable tools for modern poultry production because they provide strong, long-lasting immunity when correctly administered. Live vaccines have a rapid onset and an easy, well-established method for large-scale application. However, care must be taken to properly store and handle live vaccines and to properly administer live vaccines to large populations. Adverse reactions occur when vaccines are applied incorrectly or inappropriately. Live water-administered vaccines must be stored at temperatures from 35 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 to 7 degrees Celsius in refrigerators that are clearly marked vaccine storage only. These refrigerated units must have temperature monitors with alarms. Water vaccines should not be frozen at any time, as temperature swings will compromise the efficacy of the vaccine. Keep all vaccines in their original packaging to ensure you have the product you need. When preparing to vaccinate a flock, keep vaccines in coolers with ice packs to maintain appropriate temperature until use. Prevent temperature swings as well as exposure to sunlight, as these will reduce vaccine effectiveness. Reconstitute the required vaccine at the time of vaccination. Use a new, unopened vaccine each time you vaccinate chickens. Never use vaccines that are expired or have been improperly stored, such as being left on a counter or inadvertently frozen. Always prepare vaccines in a clean, well-lighted space that is free of contaminants. Do not prepare more vaccine than can be used in 45 minutes. Make sure your water lines are clean. Do not use waterline sanitizers for at least 48 hours before and 24 hours after vaccinating. Run the vaccine stabilizer through the water lines for 24 hours before vaccinating. Always use clean equipment when vaccinating. To ensure items are clean, thoroughly wash and rinse the container, the plastic tank, the pump, and any other tools used for mixing and holding vaccine. Bypass or remove the water filters. Use a large, clean, washable drum or container. Fill it with enough water to consume within 1 hour. Using the water meter, use 40% of the average water consumption from the previous 3 to 4 days. When using a tank or barrel, add the vaccine stabilizer and the dye to the water in the plastic tank. Then mix it and let it stand for 15 to 20 minutes. Add the vaccine to the tank. Last, rinse the vials and pour the rinse back into the vaccine solution. When using a medicator, prepare the stock solution, including vaccine stabilizer and dye, in a clean container. Add the vaccine to the stock solution. Rinse vaccine vials and pour the liquid back into the stock solution. Mix the solution. 2 hours before vaccinating, raise the water lines out of the bird's reach. Reconstitute the required vaccine at the time of vaccination. Confirm there are no airlocks in the line before charging the water lines with the vaccine solution. Make sure you see the vaccine dye at the end of the water lines. And lower the water lines down to bird height. Walk the house to encourage the birds to drink. Ensure all vaccine solution has been consumed before running drinking water back into the lines. Types of vaccines that can be administered through the water include infectious bronchitis virus, IBV, Newcastle disease virus, NDV, infectious bursal disease, IBD, infectious laryngotracheitis, ILT, avian encephalomyelitis, AE, and avian reovirus, ARV. An hour after vaccination, check at least 25 birds in 4 different areas of the house. Look for evidence of dye inside their mouths, indicating ingestion of vaccine. Record the location and number of positive and negative birds with dye in each area. 95% of chickens should be positive for dye. 4 to 10 days after vaccination, you may see head shaking, louder breathing, and/or watery eyes, depending on which vaccine was administered. Mild reactions are desirable and indicate immunization. Vaccination audits should be conducted periodically to ensure proper handling, mixing, administering, and cleaning. When best practices are consistently performed throughout the vaccination process, vaccine efficacy is ensured. Roughly 3 weeks after vaccination, blood samples from vaccinated flocks are often tested for antibodies to monitor the vaccination process. Antibody titers, or levels, should be consistent and high after this amount of time, with little variability between samples. Uniform and high antibody titers are evidence vaccination was performed correctly. Water vaccination is a routine process in poultry production. When the procedures and best practices described in this video are followed routinely, they result in repeatable, strong, and robust flock immunization. Call your veterinarian if you have any questions. Remember, the health and the quality of our flocks is all our responsibility.